More teams means more emotion. More drama.
They want to see what you made of.
More dreams.
And I'm feeling good.
It's games like this where legends are made.
This place is rich with reverence for the game. And for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, back in the hunt again.
We won't stop until they say the game's over.
They meet their home state's namesake.
Indiana, believing.
And the best team in the history of Hoosier football.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
This is how the new playoff starts.
You got every weapon you need right here in your heart.
In America's heartland.
The biggest game in school history.
With a game that means everything.
Unbelievable.
And more.
I'm feeling good.
And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish take the field, led by head coach Marcus Freeman. 11-1, the shocking loss in week 2 here to Northern Illinois. They basically put themselves in a must-win situation in every game thereafter, and they won them all, winning all 10 by a margin of 30 points per game. This is the Fortnite OG kickoff. And this crowd has been waiting all day for the start of this one, which is just moments away. The Fortnite OG Spotlight. These two schools separated by 200 miles, but they haven't played each other since 1991, and that was the only meeting since 1959. It's David and Goliath when you look at the histories. Notre Dame, 4th most wins all time. Michigan, Alabama, and Ohio State ahead of them. They're tied with Texas. And Indiana, 714 losses, the most all-time in FBS football. But that does not matter tonight. Captain's coming to midfield for the coin toss. David Alvarez is the referee. The officials are from the Big 12 Conference. And we congratulate them. They're here because they've been deemed to be among the best in the country.
Gentlemen, welcome to the first round of the college football playoffs. Captains, congratulations on a successful season. I'm David Alvarez. This is Harlan Fitzgerald, representing the Big 12 Conference. Tonight's coin features the football logo is heads, CFP is tails. Indiana, what's your call going to be?
Tails.
He said tails, which is the CFP. I'm going to let it hit the ground. It's heads. You won the toss. You want to defer. Notre Dame won the toss. Will defer to the second half. You want the ball. Which way do you want to kick? Switch sides, please. Indiana will receive. Start the first half. Shake hands. Have a great game.
For each of these head coaches, it's the biggest game of his head coaching career to date. On the sideline with Indiana's Kurt Cignetti, here's Katie George.
Thanks, Sean. Coach Cignetti, you told us your players are not here for participation medals. They're not satisfied. What do you need to see from your group tonight to extend your season?
Execute one play at a time, play like we can play. We do that, we're fine.
Riley Leonard likes to use his legs. How do you contain him?
That's the big key right there. Design quarterback runs, and when he drops back, gets out of the pocket, we cannot let that happen all night long.
Best of luck.
Thanks.
Let's head over to Molly, who's with Coach Freeman. Coach, you told us this game would come down to the line of scrimmage. How does your defensive front win that battle, put some pressure on Curtis Rourke early on?
You got to play vertically. You can't play football. You got to play football and be attacking and have an attacking mindset. I just told those guys, though, it ain't about all the talking stuff. It's about your actions now, and our actions got to speak loudly tonight.
We've talked a lot about Riley Leonard's will to win. What do you need from your quarterback tonight?
Confidence, consistency, take care of the football. His best will be good enough, I promise you that.
All right, thank you, Coach. Guys.
Notre Dame and Indiana ready to get the college football playoff started. Eddie Goins will kick off. The 30-year-old kickoff man for the Irish. Solomon Van Horst, Miles Price back deep for Indiana. There's Van Horst. Very little breeze to speak of as this one gets underway, but it is chilly. We had snow overnight and early this morning. Short kickoff, returnable, but a fair catch made by Solomon Van Horst. And Indiana will start at the 25, led by the 24-year-old from Oakville, Ontario, outside Toronto, Curtis Rourke, who played 5 seasons for the Ohio Bobcats, was the Mid-American Conference MVP 2 seasons ago, was second-team All-Conference last year. And he enters tonight just 1 touchdown pass shy of the Indiana single-season mark held by Kellen Lewis. He is accurate. Curt Cignetti, Greg says he throws a very catchable ball, and he's poised.
He has great feel for the position. He anticipates beautifully and is in full control of this offense that puts almost everything on his shoulders.
In his 6th year in college football, big man, 6'5", 223 pounds. He handed it off to Justice Ellison, and he's dumped for a loss of 3 by Joshua Burnham. These are 2 outstanding defensive teams. Notre Dame's 3rd in the country in scoring defense at 13.6 points per game allowed. The only teams ahead of them are Ohio State and Texas. The defense coordinated by Al Golden in his 3rd year. 2nd down and 13. Golden brings pressure. They don't get to Rourke. Single coverage and an incomplete pass. Intended for Omar Cooper. Leonard Moore, a true freshman, had the coverage.
And this will be a matchup all night long that Indiana's going to try to take advantage of. Cooper is their fastest perimeter threat. They believe he has to have a big game against the man coverage he's likely to see from Notre Dame.
Indiana, 3rd down and 7+. They're excellent. This is 13. The pass behind his intended target, Miles Cross, Rourke's former teammate at Ohio. It's a quick 3-and-out, forced by the Notre Dame defense.
And a terrific start for Notre Dame defensively, and terrible start for Indiana's offense. They had talked long about making sure they handle the atmosphere early, and the early 3-and-out will have this crowd engaged.
Curt Cignetti concerned about the punt game. He talks about Notre Dame's ability to block punts. They blocked 3 of them this year. James Evans is the punter, senior from Auckland, New Zealand, where we're guessing it's a little warmer tonight. Low short kick. Max Hurleman was back deep for it. He let it roll, and they'll mark it at the 41, just a 36-yard punt. There's Riley Leonard, who really struggled in week 2 in that loss to NIU. He said his confidence was shot. But he told us yesterday he's grown remarkably in all aspects. And the numbers show it. They're 10-0, and he's been a big part of it as a dual-threat quarterback.
He's much more comfortable recognizing defense. He's been great with his legs starting week 3, and he's progressively gotten much more accurate on the downfield throws, which is a big part of the game that he just didn't have coming into this season.
Jeremiah Love does start at running back. He came out of their last game 3 weeks ago against USC in the 3rd quarter with a knee injury. They think he's good to go. Practice this week. He got blasted for a loss of 2. C.J. West and this stout Hoosier run defense sending an early message with a loss of a yard.
And C.J. West is the big physical run stopper in the middle. He is outstanding, but not to be overlooked. James Carpenter wearing number 99 and Mikhail Kamara at number 6. This is a tremendous front that is very active and athletic at the line of scrimmage.
They move a lot. They talk about disguising their fronts. Leonard batted in the air, intercepted, picked off by D'Angelo Pons. And Indiana gets the first takeaway of the night. James Carpenter batted it out of the air.
And a great job. Watch Carpenter's eyes. He's going to work to the outside, and then he's going to notice the ball's getting ready to come out of Riley Leonard's hands. He puts his hands up vertical, gets a piece of it where it's intercepted by Pons on the outside. Just a great job by the defensive front of the Indiana Hoosiers.
Third interception of the year for Pons. A rough start for Riley Leonard. Pons, one of 13 transfers who came over, followed Curt Cignetti from James Madison last year to Indiana. And Pons was first team All Big Ten this year. Out of the gun, Rourke. Tyson Lawton. There's a flag down. Lawton's down after a gain of 5, tackled by the All-American safety Xavier Watts. But the first flag of the night is going against IU.
Holding. Offense, number 65, 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Carter Smith, the left tackle, who has started every game for Indiana this year.
And he has a tough assignment working against Riley Mills, who at 6'5" tries to go right around him. Smith tries to grab him around the head, and that's obviously going to get called every single time. And this is an area where Indiana has to avoid. They cannot get behind the sticks. They have to stay on schedule, because when they become one-dimensional, that's when their offense becomes a lot more human.
Lawton remains the running back. He's in his 7th year of college football at his 3rd school. He gets the handoff. He gets back across midfield, tackled by Riley Mills, one of the Irish captains and a grad student having his best season, number 99.
Mills has been so important to this defense over the last few weeks, with Howard Cross, their other outstanding defensive tackle, being out for about a month. He's now back. They feel like he's close to 100%, but Mills has really plugged up the middle of that defense admirably in his absence.
Howard Cross hasn't played since November 9th against Florida State, a high ankle sprain. He's one of the best interior defensive linemen in the country. They think he'll play tonight. 2nd and 17, Lawton. A gain of 3. Their favorite running plays the stretch, and they run it very well.
You're probably wondering, after us singing Curtis Rourke's praises, this is an RPO-based offense. And right now, Notre Dame doesn't have very many defenders in the box, which is inviting Curtis Rourke to hand it off. And as a result, they haven't gotten many looks in the passing game. So another 3rd and long here, a difficult spot against this pass rush.
They're not in field goal range. Rourke, single coverage, lots of grabbing, and the catch is made by Elijah Surratt. Christian Gray was all over him, and he still made the catch for a 28-yard gain.
Wow, what an incredible catch by Surratt. It almost goes between his legs. I don't know how he keeps his concentration, but wow, what a catch.
They go quickly from the 17-yard line. That one's intercepted. Picked off by Xavier Watts. So Rourke, who had thrown only 4 interceptions all year, has just thrown his 5th. And each quarterback has thrown a pick. For Watts, his 6th interception of the year.
Well, Curtis Rourke's first red zone interception of the season couldn't have come at a worse time. He gets a little greedy. He starts his eyes to the left. He works back to the right. But look right here. He's wide open. Take it. Instead, he tries to force the over route where it's intercepted. And it's just really bad decision. You take the hitch route to the left-hand side. It's 1st and 10 in the red zone. You're cooking with gas. Instead, the bad decision and the press from Rourke leads to the interception.
He had thrown 19 red zone touchdown passes without an interception prior to tonight. So each team has thrown a pick. Riley Leonard and the Irish from their own 2. Jeremiah Love breaks free. Jeremiah Love trying to go 98. Touchdown! What a run in the first touchdown of the 12-team playoff. An electrifying start to this game as Jeremiah Love takes it 98. He has scored a rushing touchdown in all 13 games for Notre Dame this year, extending his school record. Mitch Jeter adds the extra point.
Well, it was an incredible run, but my goodness, watch his left tackle, Anthony Knapp, working against the all-Big Ten defender, Mikhail Kamara. He was able to turn him back inside, which allowed a big void between him and the tight end. That's exactly where Love went, and he was out the gate for 98. Just an incredible start, as Riley Leonard has to love it as well. Amazing answer for Marcus Freeman's Irish.
So much for concerns about Jeremiah Love's knee. That ties the longest run in school history. Josh Adams went 98 against Wake Forest here in 2015. Love was the 100-meter high school state champion growing up in St. Louis, Missouri. He ran a 10.500 to win the state championship while in high school. He can run. And he can also run you over. He can jump over you. He is a tremendous player.
He is incredible and just so versatile. Great in protection, great as a receiver, and he showed off some speed right there.
So Goins kicks off. And another fair catch made by Van Horst. So Indiana has not trailed much this year. They hired Curt Cignetti away from James Madison in November. He added 30 players in the transfer portal. 13 of them followed him from James Madison. And they won 11 games. The school record, they had a point differential of 28.7 points per game. Best in the country. 10 of their 11 wins were by 14 points or more. Their closest win was a 5-point victory over Michigan, their best win of the year. Justice Ellison dropped for a loss of 2. And there are the numbers. They won 9 games total in the 3 years before Cignetti arrived. They won 11 this year. He's won everywhere he's been. Elon, IUP, actually Indiana University of Pennsylvania first, then Elon, then James Madison, and now here. Then a wild up and down start to this one. Justice Ellison, speaking of Wake Forest, he transferred from the Demon Deacons to Indiana. He has a 10-yard run, and it'll be 3rd down and 2.
Finally a little breathing room for Indiana's offense, and on 3rd and short, they usually like to run that ball up inside again, so maybe they can continue to lean on that offensive line, which has struggled so far here in the first 5 or 6 minutes of the game.
They had a key injury to their offensive line late in the year. Their starting left guard, Drew Evans, tore his Achilles in practice. Tyler Stevens has started the last 4. The line play hasn't been as good. Part of that might be the competition. Ohio State, Michigan, they block well there. And Ellison has a 1st down. Their leading rusher for the year. 811 yards in the regular season. Honorable mention, all Big Ten.
And right now, I mean, Notre Dame, their defense is not going to move as much as Indiana's, but so far they've been pretty aggressive and have guessed right multiple times. That time they guessed wrong. They over pursue with the defensive tackle moving to the outside. It's an easy pickup right inside the left guard.
Howard Cross in the game. Hoosiers from their own 39. 6 minutes gone by already. A ton of action. High throw off the hands of Elijah Surratt and almost intercepted by Leonard Moore, who had to step in early in the year. They lost Benjamin Morrison, one of the best cornerbacks in the country, for the season due to injury. They've had a number of other key injuries, and yet Al Golden's defense has kept performing very well, in part because those like Moore who stepped in have excelled.
And they don't have crazy depth in the secondary. You referenced Morrison's injury, but they also had Jaden Mickey who went in the portal. So they are young on the outside, and that's an area where Indiana's going to have to exploit those corners at times downfield.
They crowd the line of scrimmage. Tyson Lawton breaks free. Notre Dame brought some pressure, and Lawton ran by it for 22 to the Irish 39.
And this is just numbers game right here. 3-man left side of the center stretch zone. No problem. You cut it up inside, play it off their leverage, and Lawton's got plenty of room. This is the stretch zone play that concerns Notre Dame's defensive staff. They are very fast at running back, and they make you play at angles. That time they find some space for a big run.
Lawton straight ahead and dumped after a gain of a yard by Howard Cross and Gabriel Rubio in the middle of that defensive line.
This Indiana offense, their offensive coordinator Mike Shanahan, they've done a really good job of prioritizing balance. That's how they want to attack. A lot of the decisions are made after the snap based on where defenders are. They put a lot on their quarterback Curtis Rourke's shoulders, but they want to be 50-50 run and pass. That's always the goal at the end of every game, looking at the box score.
Lawton dumped after another 1-yard gain. Adon Schuler up from the secondary. And if you're wondering, that Mike Shanahan is not related to the Super Bowl winning head coach of the same name, or to Kyle Shanahan. This Mike Shanahan's 34 years old. Very young assistant coaching staff under the 63-year-old Curt Cignetti. 3rd down and 8, not in field goal range. More pressure from the Irish. Another back shoulder throw that Surratt could not corral with Leonard Moore in coverage. And the punt unit's going to come back out for Coach Cignetti.
And that's now a couple inaccurate throws so far from Curtis Rourke. You have to wonder if the interception maybe has flustered him a bit, because a 1-for-6 start is very out of character for the 6th-year senior.
Max Hurleman back deep. Evans with some pressure. Another short kick. Well, Curt Cignetti worried about the punt game in both directions. He had a couple of short punts from Evans. This one's just 20 yards. The Irish fired up. They have a 7-0 lead. Aerial coverage from above Notre Dame Stadium provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. On a chilly night, the temperature going to drop down to the low 20s by the time this one is over. It was a hot ticket. Tickets going for well over $1,000 in the lead up to this game. And it's been an entertaining start. Right now 29 degrees, what the feels like at 18. Jeremiah Love, a 98-yard touchdown run to Darian Price, starts this possession at running back. Like Love, he averages more than 7 yards per carry. Riley Leonard, like Curtis Rourke, the transfer, he came over from Duke. This is his first season here. He thought he was going to play college basketball. It wasn't until his senior in high school that he was highly recruited as a quarterback by David Cutcliffe at Duke. Played 3 years there. The last for Mike Elko, went on to Texas A&M. And he's hoping this is not the last game of his career. The quick pass out wide dropped by Jordan Faison. Mike Denbrock, the offense coordinator, raving about Faison. When we visited yesterday, you asked him who are some of your wide receivers you think could be difference makers in the game. He mentioned Faison first.
Yeah, Faison's really good. That time had a screen. There was a lot of grass out in front. Mike Denbrock, his first year back at Notre Dame, has done a great job developing this wide receiver core, allowing them to become more athletic and really good on third down situations.
They'll have their third down back. Aeneas Williams in, ordinarily stays in the block. Quick set by Leonard and a short pass. Bo Collins stayed on his feet and got the first down. Their leading receiver, Bo Collins, is 35th of the year for the Clemson transfer.
And a great job by Bo Collins. Throws just a touch low, but he comes back, grabs it, and tight turn up the sideline for the conversion. He's their best route runner against zone coverage, and that's primarily what you're going to see from Indiana all game long. So you can anticipate a heavy workload for Bo Collins all game.
Mitchell Evans, the tight end, has become more of a factor late in the year, was the motion man. Jadarian Price dropped the line of scrimmage. Mari Farrell in on the tackle.
One thing that's going to be very important for Notre Dame offensively throughout the game, they're going to have to mix in some screens. This is a very aggressive defense. And the thing to kind of slow down that aggressiveness for Marcus Freeman's offense, they can run screens to kind of catch those guys out of position.
Play action pass for Leonard. Takes the check down to Jadarian Price. He got belted short of the line to gain. Hit by Aiden Fisher and Amari Farrell. Fisher, the linebacker, their leading tackler and first team All Big Ten this year as one of the 13 transfers from James Madison. The most transfers that have come from one school to another in one transfer portal cycle since we've had the portal.
They all have a great feel for Curt Cignetti and what they want to do on both sides of the ball.
It really helped have the success they've had. They know the system. They have the same defensive coordinator. On third down and short, Aeneas Williams, the ball carrier, just his 27th of the year. He got 6 and a first down.
And that play right there kind of tells you what Notre Dame's thinking in this matchup. You're going against statistically the best run defense in the country. You're sitting there 3rd and 2. You hand it to Aeneas Williams, who doesn't get a ton of opportunities between the tackles, and he pushes forward for a big first down.
High snap handled by Leonard. Evans lost the football on the sideline and is recovered by Jordan Faison. Indiana sideline wants it ruled an incomplete pass, but for the moment it's a catch and a fumble, and they picked up some yards on the fumble.
It looked like he secured it just enough, but right there as he's going to kind of put it up inside to the left-hand side, that's when the ball gets dislodged. Looked like to me he did enough to warrant a completion, but fortunate that his teammate was right there to recover it for a decent first down gain.
The officials are talking about it now.
Well, on the field was a catch and a fumble recovered by the offense. First down.
Mitch Evans, one of the best tight ends in the country. And as he came on late in the year, Mike Denbrock said it opened it up for others, particularly some of the wide receivers. Williams again, the running back, in a short yardage situation. Leonard given a nice pocket and a good lunging catch made by Williams. Just his 8th catch of the year. We talk about this unique defensive front, Greg, coordinated by Brian Haynes. Mike Denbrock said he threw just about everything he could throw at the offensive line in practice in terms of looks from the defense. But he said the problem with that can be you don't want to give them too much to think about. That's Bryant Haynes, the defensive coordinator, because you don't want them to think so much they forget to fire off the ball and play aggressively. They're trying to fire off the ball for Price, who got 2.
And one thing too, I think that also has kind of helped Mike Denbrock the extra time, having additional weeks to look at this defense, study this defense, and give your offense a lot of different pictures. So if it can be run by Indiana's defense, it's been thrown at Notre Dame's offense in the last few weeks preparing for this game.
10th play of the Notre Dame drive. They started at their own 17. They've scored on a 98-yard touchdown run by Jeremiah Love. Blitz right up the middle, wide receiver screen, face on, broke some tackles. He's not a big guy, just 5'10" and 184 pounds, but he was tough on the run after the catch for 9 yards and a first down.
And this is the screen game that we talked about a moment ago. This will settle down some of the exotic movement that you'll see from Indiana's defense. And now, with 1st and 10 inside the 35-yard line, if I'm Mike Denbrock, I'm thinking about taking a shot downfield with Indiana's defense on their heels.
Price, the running back, and 3 wide receivers. Actually, one of them is the tight end, Evans, who went in motion in a procedure call here against Notre Dame.
Ball start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And Mitchell Evans right here, he almost tries to fake it a little bit like he's going in motion, but you see the flinch and then, oh no, hang on, I was going in motion. Now they're going to get you there. That's 2 mistakes though. I mean, Evans, one of the most sure-handed, reliable guys they have on their roster. A couple early mistakes though from him, out of character.
So 1st and 15 as we approach a minute to go in the first quarter. 30th meeting all time between these 2 in-state rivals, but the first since 1991. Price running room outside and turns the corner. 20-yard gain. Sean Asbury whiffed on a tackle, and that sent Price on his way.
And I want you to see the block right here by the slot receiver. That's Jaden Greathouse coming in and securing Amari Farrell, who's trying to blow up the play. The receiver sees it. He goes and cleans it up, which allows Price plenty of room to get to the edge, find an angle, and get plenty more yards after contact.
Price again. Well, he set up the game, a big part of it. The potent Notre Dame rushing attack against the #1 rushing defense in the country. So far, the Irish winning that battle, including a 98-yard touchdown run by Jeremiah Love. They've rushed for 131 in the first quarter against Coach Cignetti's defense.
That is the end of the first quarter.
ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. This is the College Football Playoff first round presented by Allstate.
With head coach Curt Cignetti, how do you get a stop here defensively to help your team settle in?
Well, we got to stay in the right gap, defeat blocks and tackle. I mean, very shaky start, then got an interception, made a nice play on 3rd down, throw an interception on fastball, not in the right gap on 98-yard run. You know, Notre Dame's taking advantage of it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And his opposite number, Marcus Freeman, said in our visit yesterday, thought winning the line of scrimmage was the most important aspect tonight. His team is doing that on both sides of the football so far. 13th play of the Notre Dame drive, first play of the second quarter. Irish leading 7-0. Riley Leonard checks it down. Jordan Faison down near the 6. He's a dual sport athlete here. Very important member of their national championship lacrosse team.
What a well-rounded player he's become, too, for the football team. I mean, so versatile in the slot, but has also showcased a lot of abilities to hand the ball off to him and things like that. And right here, 3rd and short, you got to be thinking Riley Leonard's legs if you're Indiana's defense.
And This formation would make you think that's even more likely. Not to be denied. Riley Leonard spins down inside the 4-yard line. 1st and goal, Notre Dame. It's the first rush of the night for Riley Leonard, for Coach Marcus Freeman.
Even as they get closer and closer to the goal line, he even takes more of a priority in the run game. So inside the 5, I mean, he's got a bunch of opportunities, and I would think they'll probably look in his direction again here to try to run the football and pound it with 3 tight ends in the game.
And Price, the running back. Leonard already has 14 rushing touchdowns this season. Awkward looking play. It looked like the timing of the snap was off, and Price dropped back behind the 5 for a loss by Aiden Fisher.
Yeah, they definitely busted the snap count here. I mean, this is the left tackle really doesn't move. Watch right there. He doesn't move. He's laid off the ball, which allows the defender to run right inside to stop any momentum that Price would have. And
do you think the center snapped it early? It looked like several of the linemen didn't move.
Yeah, nobody had any idea what was going on. I mean, the whole left side seemed to be in chaos, which is not what you want this part of the field. Watch the tight ends here, though. Big part of the passing game.
The fake, and it is a touchdown to Jaden Thomas. Just his 2nd touchdown of the year and his 17th catch.
And the defender's eyes are in the backfield the whole way, and you're going to see perfect route by Thomas. Goes and sets up the defender, works away from the guy that's trying to cover from the outside in, and it's a perfectly lofted pass from Riley Leonard into the awaiting arms of Thomas in the back of the end zone. Perfectly executed play.
And Mitch Jeter on for the extra point. Jaden Thomas, not one of their featured wide receivers for most of the year. Senior from Paulding County, Georgia. Another touchdown for Notre Dame. The CFP first-round games presented by Allstate continue tomorrow. TNT and Max will have the afternoon action starting at noon with SMU and Penn State, and then at 4, Clemson and Texas. Here on ABC and ESPN tomorrow night at 8, Tennessee and Ohio State. We remind you, TNT and Max tomorrow. If you come here to ABC and ESPN, as you usually do, looking for the college football, you will not find the college football playoff. You'll find it tomorrow night at 8. We wish TNT well as they cover the action using our people, we are happy to say.
Yeah, excited about those games, man. Tomorrow's going to be one of the great college football days of all time. I can't wait for it, man.
Eddie Goins kicks off. Fair catch. I'm surprised they're at least not trying to run these back on short kickoffs. Keyshawn Williams, this fair catch. We go inside the college football playoff presented by Capital One. Indiana hasn't won here since 1898. That was the first of the 30 meetings all time. They've lost 12 in a row here since, but it's been a while. Penn State, the home field advantage tomorrow against SMU. Perfect at home in the last decade against non-conference foes. Texas only one loss in the last 2 years at home. That was to Georgia. Ohio State always great at home.
I think it's pretty important to get those home playoff games. What do you say, bud? This is a heck of an environment here, too, for Curtis Rourke to try to get back in rhythm here against.
He decides to keep it and goes for a 1-yard gain. Unlike Riley Leonard, that's not a big part of his game. He's rushed for minus 25 yards this season. Jack Kaiser made the tackle. The 6th-year linebacker playing in his Notre Dame record 67th career game for the Irish.
Kaiser's got a very bright future. He's done such a great job in this offense, and this defense has kind of grown and seen his role expand year over year, and he's become a star in his final season.
Came back for a chance to play for a championship. On target. Keyshawn Williams the catch from Rourke. Here's Katie George.
Yeah, Sean, IU quarterbacks coach Tino Sinceri told Curtis Rourke in between series, let's start to get some quick throws going. We also need to mix up when the ball comes out. Thanks, Lance. That should help us find a rhythm. That completion there, a good start.
And I think Katie really needs to settle down. Tino Sinceri, he's going to be heading to become the offensive coordinator at UCLA. He's got a very bright future as a play caller, but he's got to settle his quarterback down who's missing high all night.
Sinceri, the co-offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Nice run by Justice Ellison, and Indiana's across midfield with a 15-yard run by the senior from Ashburn, Virginia.
And how about the big fella, the 6th-year holdover from the previous staff, Mike Katic, the center getting way out and around on a wide design hitting run. That's a long way for a 320-pounder to run, and he picks up a key block to spring his back.
Katic, a Pittsburgh native, like his coach Kurt Signetti. Again, the Irish crowding the line of scrimmage, successfully so. Xavier Watts took down Ellison for no gain. Molly McGrath on the Notre Dame sideline.
Yeah, well, Greg mentioned Curtis Rourke needs to settle down. Irish defensive players telling each other we are in their quarterback's head. The message to the defensive front is all you need is one sack to completely take away his confidence. He's feeling the pressure, and if you hit him, his confidence will be gone. So Notre Dame looking to keep the pressure on Rourke. They can feel that it's starting to affect him, guys.
Notre Dame outstanding on defense, 3rd in the country in scoring defense behind Ohio State and Texas. And that pass batted down, and almost a diving interception made by Donovan Heinisch. Junior Tui Alamaka knocked it out of the air while being held.
It's not often you see Rourke at 6'5" get passes defended. That's a good job by Tui Alamaka working against Trey Weddick, the right tackle, putting more pressure on Curtis Rourke. And Rourke's got to settle down, but his offensive line also has to give him some time as well. It's going to be tough for him to complete passes accurately with guys in his face.
They're 2 out of 4 on 3rd down. They go to a run, and Lawton dropped by Jalen Snead. Interesting call. It'll be 4th down and 11. Riley Mills in on the stop for the Irish.
And I understand why they handed this off. I mean, this should be 88 and out the gate. There's 3 blockers on the left side, and guess what? Doesn't matter when your left tackle gets destroyed. Carter Smith, Riley Mills beats him inside. There's nowhere to go, but based on numbers, that's a handed off all day long. I mean, Notre Dame is just wearing them out up front along the line of scrimmage.
3rd punt for James Evans, and another brutal punt. Well, you wonder if the cold is affecting him. As we mentioned, he's from Auckland, New Zealand. That's a 30-yard punt. Tonight's Twix player spotlight, the quarterback comparison. Shaky start for Curtis Rourke, just his 5th interception of the year, and just the 9th turnover committed by Indiana. They started tonight 2nd in the country, fewest turnovers lost. Vanderbilt 7. Meanwhile, Riley Leonard's completed 7 passes in a row. Their last possession, a 16-play touchdown drive, the longest in the history of the college football playoff in terms of number of plays. He's on target for his 8th in a row to Chris Mitchell for a 1st down, a gain of 11. This is a continuation of the college football playoff, even though it's a different format with 12 teams. We had 10 years of the 4-team playoff, and the stats and historical nuggets continue on. The 98-yard touchdown run by Jeremiah Love, the longest play, as you might expect, in the history of the college football playoff. Love, nowhere to go that time. Sean Asbury up from his safety spot. Another one of the transfers, 2 years at Old Dominion, 1 year at Boston College before that.
And this is going to have to be the adjustment for Indiana. Right now, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, they have a lot of room to the edges of the defense. They've found plenty of space. So these safeties are going to have to get a little bit more aggressive, and if you put your defenders on islands on the outside, so be it. You got to stop the run.
Love in trouble again, delivers a stiff arm that tried to hurdle a defender, and he did jump over Amari Farrell, but nowhere to go after. Terry Jones Jr. was there for a 5-yard loss.
I mean, how high was he in the air? Right, whoop! I mean, very fortunate that Farrell was able to somehow get just enough of him with that right leg, and he goes down awkwardly, and that right knee twists a little as well, and that was the knee that was injured and forced him to miss the rest of the game against SC.
Well, he's hurdled would-be tacklers a number of times this year. 3rd down and 16. They try for another one of those wide receiver screens, and Linnell Carr batted it out of the air. Senior defensive end from St. Louis.
That was massive sequence right there for Bryant Haynes' defense. They had to get off the field. This was really well executed. They anticipated screen. As a result, guys were all flowing in that direction. It didn't even matter because Linnell Carr was right there with his left hand to deflect the pass. That was exactly what Indiana needed to stop the bleeding.
First punt of the night for James Rendell. He got it off quickly. Line drive kick with some pressure coming at him. And the Irish will down it just shy of the 35-yard line. 38-yard punt. Midway through the 2nd quarter, the college football playoff is underway.
Well, Curtis Rourke, the 6th-year senior, is off to a tough start. Missing throws, just inaccurate throws off the mark. Mostly high, that one high and inside. This one way off the mark, does not give Surratt a chance. And then he passes up an open receiver in the flat, tries to force it in between not just 2 defenders, but 2 defenders, a free safety, and an umpire to make things even more difficult. They got to settle their quarterback down. Too many throws so far tonight have been down the field. They need to see him get a couple easy completions to get him into a rhythm.
Ordinarily very accurate. That 70.4 completion percentage for the year was 7th in the nation. Quick throw, quick tackle. Miles Cross dumped by Xavier Watts, just a 1-yard gain. Watts won the Nagurski last year as the defensive player of the year. Could have gone on to the NFL, but he felt he had a lot of areas in which he could improve. Man-to-man coverage, tackling, his post breaks, and he wanted to come back to win a championship. Al Golden said he's improved in all those areas and then some. They continue to stuff the run. Lawton dropped by Drake Bowen, the linebacker, Indiana native, their 2nd leading tackler for the year behind Kaiser, his fellow product of the Hoosier State.
And Indiana has got to be better on 1st and 2nd down to avoid these 3rd and long situations. When they get in 3rd and long, Mike Shanahan's offensive line, which is already struggling, they're going to start seeing a lot of movement, twists, and games, which have given them fits all season long.
Pressure up the middle, well blocked. Rourke on target, and a catch by Surratt for a 1st down on a 15-yard pickup to the Irish 49.
And how about a little love right here for the running back, Tyson Lawton, who just totally cleans up that middle linebacker pressure right up the middle to allow the time for the throw.
He stands in the block again, and a flag thrown, likely for pass interference. Intended for Miles Price. It was Jordan Clark who had the coverage. Each team assessed just 1 penalty so far.
Card of the pass. Holding. Defense number 1. 10-yard penalty and automatic. 1st down.
On Clark, a transfer from Arizona State, the son of our ESPN colleague, Ryan Clark.
It looked like that right hand was kind of wrapped around the hip of Miles Price. And that's kind of what the officials saw. There wasn't a ton there, but I think it's still a good call. There's just enough movement on the offensive player.
Lawton stays in to pick up the blitz again. Another back shoulder throw. They're trying to work that hard to Elijah Surratt, and they're not having much luck with it because of the coverage by Leonard Moore.
They're just going to have to continue to throw it, but at some point, if the back shoulder is being well defended by these Notre Dame cornerbacks, put some air under it and throw it over the top. If they're defending the back shoulder, fine, we'll throw it over your head. That's the adjustment. The corner can't be right. You cannot predetermine where you want to throw it, back shoulder or deep.
On 2nd and 10, the play action pass on the money to Miles Price. And he's yanked down by Jordan Clark. But it's 17 more for the Hoosiers. And a first down to the Notre Dame 22.
It's great recognition by Curtis Rourke. Clark is lined up way off and outside, which allows easy completion.
Price breaks a tackle and lowers his shoulder to Jordan Clark. Christian Gray failed to make the tackle on the first opportunity, and it winds up as a 6-yard gain for Indiana.
The last time Indiana got to this part of the field, they had Notre Dame on their heels after a big play that was created. Now they're opting to go with the huddle, settling their quarterback down, not getting to do a speed ball, which forced the bad decision earlier.
Pressure again from Notre Dame. They try to run right through it. It doesn't work. Jaden Osbury dropped Justice Ellison.
Tough down and distance here, but the guy I'm looking at, if I'm Curtis Rourke, is number 13, Surratt. If I get one-on-one with him, he's the guy I'm going after. He's my best and most reliable receiver against man coverage. He's lined up at the top.
8th play of the drive. Looked like there was some movement along the line. It's a direct snap to Ellison. There are no flags down. He's down with just a 1-yard gain. Now let's see what Kurt Cignetti decides to do. On 4th down at about 4 with under 4 minutes to go in the half, down 14-0. Offense is staying on the field. They did well in this situation on 4th down in plus territory. Fighting a talented Notre Dame defense and this raucous sellout crowd. Timeout, Indiana. Cignetti wants a little more time to think about it. 14-0 Notre Dame. And this college football playoff schedule begins tonight here at Notre Dame Stadium. Curtis Rourke's on the sideline now. The jacket wrapped around him. Looks like after the timeout, Kirk Cignetti's going to send the field goal team out. You like that decision?
You know, I think if it were 3 or less, maybe 4th and 2, I'd feel better about going for it. The 4th and 4 is a much more difficult animal because you kind of lose the opportunity to run the football in that down and distance. So I think Cignetti just trying to make his offense feel good, inject some confidence, inject some life into his sideline by taking the points.
Saw the graphic. They're not used to trailing. Here's Nicholas Radicic, redshirt freshman, who's missed only 1, and that was in the last game against Purdue on a cold and snowy night in Bloomington 3 weeks ago. Right down the middle from 34, and Indiana's on the board.
Mark Langston on the snap. James Evans the hold.
3:26 to go till halftime. Notre Dame 14 and Indiana 3. This is the college football playoff first round presented by Allstate. First game of the playoff, the first year of the 12-team format. A lot of firsts. This is the first Friday game ever at Notre Dame Stadium, which opened in 1930. They have played on Fridays before, most recently back in 1900. A 5-0 Irish win over Chicago Surgeons and Physicians.
Who was on the mound for the Irish that day?
Actually, Mike Swanson, our statsman, did stats in that game. It was an easy job for him in a low-scoring game. Derek McCormick kicks off. Jaden Harrison's going to try it. And he regrets that decision. Dropped at the 17-yard line. Kick off your NFL Sunday at 10 a.m. with the Countdown Crew on ESPN and the app. Early breaking stories, injury updates, previews of every game right up to kickoff. And then cap the NFL week with Monday Night Football on ESPN, Deportes, and ESPN Plus. At 8 Eastern, New Orleans and Green Bay. SVP and the Countdown Crew get you started at 6. Scott will join us later on tonight. Packers 10-4. Won 6 in a row at home on Monday Night Football. Might be a little chilly in Green Bay Monday night. Riley Leonard comes out throwing and now takes off running. We've seen a lot of that this year. James Carpenter chased him out. He had a busy week, Riley Leonard. It's finals week here. If you think, well, they're Notre Dame football players, they don't have to participate in that. They had 40 players take finals yesterday. Riley Leonard was one of them. A final exam in cosmology. I thought he wanted to be a makeup artist.
Not cosmetology.
Yeah, I misunderstood what he said.
We could both use some help if you were into cosmetology.
Yes, well, yeah, we could use him up here if that's the case. Jeremiah Love, the fake handoff to him, and Leonard spins ahead. Earlier in the week, he had 3 papers he had to write and a presentation to do in front of a class. So for those who think these aren't student athletes, at least here at Notre Dame this week and beyond, they are.
No special days here. Day before the biggest game arguably in recent history at Notre Dame. Yeah, you got a final at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Be there, be square.
We actually moved the finals schedules around for the rest of the student body so they could come to this home game. On a Friday, they needed the parking lots as well. They're keeping the dorms open through the weekend for those who stayed for the football game. We're at the 2-minute timeout. Big third down play upcoming. Indiana would like to get it back with a chance to score again. It's 14-3 for Marcus Freeman and the Irish. For the Mercedes-Benz halftime report.
From the 21-yard line.
Kirk Herbstreit and the game day gang standing by. Already 4 hours of game day, led by the incomparable Reese Davis from the Notre Dame campus just outside Notre Dame Stadium. 3rd down and 6 for the Irish at the 2-minute timeout. They lead 14-3. Indiana would like to get it back. They have 2 timeouts if they can get a stop here. Aeneas Williams, the running back. The tight end, Mitch Evans, the motion man. Leonard hit as he throws. Diving attempt. And it's ruled a catch. Jordan Faison for 10 yards and a big first down. Mikhail Kamara hit Leonard just as he threw it. Notre Dame goes quickly to the line, but the officials are going to stop it. Perhaps for a replay review to make sure this was a catch.
It's a great play by Leonard. It looked like, wow, Faison had it initially. Does it hit the ground as he's turning over, and does he secure control? You have to maintain control all the way through the catch. Just an incredible effort by Faison.
Crowd has seen a couple of replays on the big screen, and they think it's a catch. I mean, it looks like he got his hand under. The only question I would say is right there as he starts to roll over. The first time tonight they've gone to the replay booth to Eugene Semko, so we bring in for the first time tonight Matt Austin from his well-heated home. Matt, what say you? Good evening, friend.
Good evening. I agree with you guys. The ball hit the ground, in my opinion.
Confirmed. So there was enough evidence to say it was a catch. Matt, sorry for the interruption.
No, it's okay. I'm a little shocked. I thought it was on the ground a lot. You didn't look like the hands had that good of firm control, but I don't think it was clear and obvious either way. So I would have thought stands over confirmed.
Yeah, I would agree with you, because I don't think right there that's clear cut, but it's a huge call. So now the drive continues for Notre Dame. They have all 3 timeouts left. They have had a very shaky field goal kicking situation. Worst in the country, in fact. They have a very good kicker in Mitch Jeter, transferred from South Carolina, but he's been injured most of the year. And he's made only 6 of 12 field goals. But they think he's gotten healthier with the extra time off. He's actually kicked more in practice in recent weeks. Riley Leonard. This is what he can do. Looked like he started a dive head first, maybe slide. Settled on kind of a dip the shoulder and roll-ish thing for a 6-yard gain.
He's so difficult when he takes off. I mean, as a designed quarterback run, he's excellent. But when things break down and the pass rush gets too aggressive, that's when he can really kill you.
Pump fake. Trying to find a running lane. He does somehow. He has another first down. Clock stops to move the chains with 1:03 to go. 6-yard gain. Aiden Fisher credited with the stop. They're at their own 43.
With the field goal issues that Notre Dame's had, the last thing Indiana can do here is allow a ball thrown over their heads. So they got to stay on top of the receivers.
2 receivers to either side, dumped over the middle. Aeneas Williams did a good job to catch it, stay on his feet, and he fought within a yard of the first down. The forward progress there. And Notre Dame will call a timeout.
Let's take a look here at Aeneas Williams, and he does just barely secure it before ball makes contact with the turf. Pretty good balance and hands there from the often overlooked running back behind the 2-headed monster that is Price and Love.
For 42 seconds to go till halftime. Gives us time to check the college football playoff rankings, brought to you by AT&T. With the other 3 first-round games on campus sites tomorrow, with Clemson and Texas and SMU and Penn State. Both of those games are on TNT and Max starting at noon from State College, and then tomorrow night on ABC and ESPN, Tennessee and Ohio State. What do you think of those 3 matchups tomorrow?
I think we've got some great matchups to look forward to. I think Texas is a really good matchup against Clemson. I think that game is going to be tough for Clemson to win unless Texas makes some mistakes. But the other 2, I think SMU, their speed on outside at wide receiver could cause some problems. Kevin Jennings, a playmaker at quarterback. So that one's got a chance to be tight. And the last one, we know it's going to be great between Tennessee and Ohio State.
Aeneas Williams stays in. He's been a factor here in the first quarter. The first half, rather. Leonard throws deep and incomplete. Diving attempt by Faison, running in coverage with him, Jamari Sharp.
That was the one thing I told you a second ago. I think it was one play ago. You cannot let them get behind you. That was a good job by Sharp, who's starting for the 2nd game in a row after we replaced Jameer Johnson in the final game of the year.
Yeah, he played well. So Brian Haynes has him back out there tonight at corner. So here's another 3rd down from just across midfield. 3rd down and 1 out of the pistol. Williams still the running back. Williams breaks a tackle and has a first down. He gets them to the edge of field goal range. 12-yard gain. Jeremiah Loves had just 4 carries. He had the 98-yard touchdown run, the longest run by anybody in the country this season. And he's had 3 carries since, all for negative yardage. Leonard spiked it in the direction of Williams. I mean, Williams often in there on 3rd down. He's in there for this entire drive.
Yeah, he's a great pass catching back and is also excellent protection. And with Love, maybe they said he was at 100%. They said he didn't have any limitations, but maybe that right knee is giving him a couple fits as he started out in this game. Didn't look like it on the 98-yard touchdown run, that's for sure.
10th play of the drive. Notre Dame started at its own 17. 5-man rush. They get there. Leonard got rid of it. It's an incomplete pass. Crowd wants a flag for a late hit. James Carpenter put the hit on. 6th-year player from Roanoke, Virginia. Started his college career as a walk-on.
And it looked like as Leonard was getting ready to release the ball, Carpenter really already had him in his grasp. I had no issue with that. It wasn't vicious. He didn't slam him down. I think that was a correct no call there on Carpenter, who's just trying to make a play. Right here, though, I mean, with the struggles that you've had at the field goal kicking spot, I mean, usually you'd say, hey, get 5 or 6 yards. You can even run it if you like it to make this field goal a little bit more manageable and to center it, too, in the middle of the field.
I wonder if Kurt Cignetti thought there should have been grounding there. He's hollering at the officials himself. Williams remains the running back. Pressure again. Dumped off quickly to Williams. Nifty run after the catch. Banged down at the 31. The clock runs. The Notre Dame has 2 timeouts. And this will be the test of the improved health of Mitch Jeter.
Notre Dame, their second and a half, 30 seconds in lane.
They do have 10 seconds. And they have 1 more timeout. So, Greg, they could run another play here if they so desire. What do you think they're going to do?
Yeah, I think probably kick it from here, given the fact that it's 4th down. But I mean, given the challenges that they've had with Jeter kicking field goals all game long, all season long, this is obviously a really tough spot to be in if you're Mitch Jeter.
He's such a terrific kicker. 2 years at South Carolina, he made 23 out of 25, but he's had a groin injury and a hip problem. Lost his confidence. For a while, Marcus Freeman said they really weren't practicing him at all. But in this 3-week interlude since their last game, they went the other way. So, okay, you're healthy. You're going to kick a lot, get your confidence back. They thought he was excellent in practice. So we'll see. This is a long one. Going to be a 49-yard try, which would be his longest of the season. Made a 48-yarder against Louisville. Snap and hold are good. That's the old Mitch Jeter. Good from 49 with room to spare. They were the worst field goal kicking team in the country during the regular season. Collectively, they had made 8 out of 18 with Jeter and a couple of his stand-ins. The only team in the country under 50%.
You don't often see a head coach get that fired up. And man, good for Mitch Jeter. I mean, it's a tough spot. It's a lonely position. You say you have one job, you know, but my goodness, it's such a mental position as well. And he's battled injury and he's battled back now. And congrats to him nailing it on a big opportunity before the half.
So back to a 14-point lead. And only 7 seconds to go.
And also big, too, with Notre Dame deferring to the second half. A chance to go 2 for 1 coming out start 3rd quarter.
The Irish will get the ball first to start the second half. Eddie Goins. Fair catch. Apparently they're going to do that all night long. I think at a certain point they might try one. Solomon Van Horst held on to it. ABC has FCS championship semifinal games tomorrow starting at noon. South Dakota State and North Dakota State. South Dakota State going for a three-peat. Of course, for a while it was North Dakota State that used to dominate that division. And then at 3:30, South Dakota and Montana State. If it's this cold here, what's it going to be like there?
Yeah, they're thinking about us right now with our overcoats and thinking about how soft we are. That's what they're thinking up there in the Dakotas. That's for sure. In Montana, too, as well.
Games can also be seen on the ESPN app. It's the way it should be. Outdoor football. The 2 FBS games, 2 of them. Games tomorrow at Penn State and Ohio State. Temperature likely to be below freezing. Running play for Tyson Lawton ends a rough first half for Kurt Cignetti. and the Hoosiers, who have trailed less than any team in the country entering tonight. Not used to this situation. Here's Katie with Coach Cignetti.
Thanks, Sean. Coach, what do you need to see from Curtis Rourke in your offense in the next half?
Completions. We got to do a good job protecting them, better job separating. We're going to have to get the pass game going and get the offense going. Missing too many tackles on defense. I give Notre Dame credit. You know, they're taking it to us, and they get the ball first and second half. So we got to get this thing turned around.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Molly?
Coach, you were pumped up after that 49-yard field goal from Mitch Jeter. How did your team play well in all three phases in that first half?
Well, I mean, it's huge for Mitch. He's been a little banged up, and I knew he had a good few weeks in practice, and so to see him make that 49-yarder was big for his confidence, for the confidence we have in him. We knew this was going to be a battle, and you talk about cold December games. You got to be able to run the ball. You got to stop the run, and that's something we've been doing pretty well, taking care of the ball for the most part, and we got to continue to try to make an impact on special teams. So this is going to be a battle. It's been a good fight, and look forward to coming back for the second half.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Sean.
He's had a good week. Signed a contract extension earlier this week. Notre Dame up 17-3. The Mercedes-Benz halftime report after this message and a word from our ABC stations. This is the college football playoff first round presented by Allstate. First game of this 12-team playoff format from Notre Dame Stadium. And the Irish at the half leading Indiana 17-3. The winner on to the quarterfinals to take on Georgia on New Year's Day in the Sugar Bowl. The first half stats brought to you by Hims. And a considerable edge just about everywhere you look for Notre Dame. Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy. To me, Greg, so far the key to the game has been Notre Dame has really controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
And that's probably the most concerning thing for Indiana is they've really had no answers so far with how Notre Dame has attacked their offensive line. Now they've had some space to the outside, but really nothing up the middle. And as a result of that pressure up the middle, their quarterback has felt some unnecessary heat. So he's been a little off the mark as well. So the offensive line needs to shore up, and they need to get the passing game going because Curtis Rourke was well below his normal self there in the first half of this football game.
Derek McCormick will kick off for Indiana. The only other time they trailed in the second half this season was against Ohio State in their only loss of the year in Columbus. Jaden Harrison, they run a reverse. Jordan Faison. Jordan Faison down the sidelines. Tackled from behind as he crossed midfield, or that might have gone all the way. Notre Dame has been great on special teams all season long with the exception of the field goal problems due to injury.
And this is a really good job by Notre Dame, but there's only really one defender that had to be shook, and that was Jameer Johnson, number 8, who just missed him, completely missed him. He was really the only guy that saw the reverse from the beginning. Faison gets to the outside, a great move. And there's nothing but green grass out in front. It gives Notre Dame great field position to start the second half.
44 yards on the return for Faison. They start at the 47 of Indiana. Riley Leonard 11 out of 17 for 87 yards, a touchdown and an interception in the first half. And a flag down, delay a game before they snap the ball.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, head coach Marcus Freeman stressed aggression in the locker room. He said especially on special teams to steal some momentum, so he has to be happy with how they came out of the half. He said he also wants to be aggressive, find different ways to run the ball. Told quarterback Riley Leonard continue to play with confidence, especially in the passing game, and take some shots. And he stressed, we don't just want to hold on to this lead. I want to attack and not let up, guys.
Leonard dumps it off. Jeremiah Love, his first touch since more than half the second quarter remained. Here's Katie George.
Yeah, Sean, Kurt Cignetti said they started to put some heat on Riley Leonard at the end of the second quarter. He said we've got to continue to put pressure on him, but he said the problem has been all of the missed tackles. They've got to clean that up if they want to be able to fight their way back into this game here in the second half, Sean.
All right, Katie, thank you. Kurt Cignetti engineered the largest turnaround in the country this year. 8 wins improvement. Jeremiah Love ahead for just a couple. They won 3 games last year. He was at James Madison. So when they reached out to him, he was interested in the job, but he was very happy at James Madison. Had a really good team coming back. By the way, ASU also 8 wins improvement this year. He said, I was home one night talking to my wife, Minette, and then she said, well, let's take a look at the schedule for Indiana. He started looking at the schedule and said, I think there could be 10 wins in that schedule. Got a little more interested, decided to take the job. So one of the things that got his attention, the Big Ten's television contract that brings a lot of money to these schools. Riley Leonard, diving catch, and it's incomplete. Bo Collins couldn't grab it.
The throw just off the mark here from Riley Leonard, a little bit low and out in front. It was a great effort by Bo Collins, who fully stretched but couldn't quite secure it.
Be a greater effort if he caught it.
Sometimes effort is, we need a great effort as well, right? A for effort, I suppose. C- for execution.
First 3 and out of the night for Notre Dame. James Rendell, the punter. Short, fair catch signaled by Miles Price. And Indiana will start at its own 12-yard line after a 31-yard punt.
Simple, I win. Google me.
Memorable words from Kurt Cignetti at his introductory press conference in Bloomington, and it's not lying if you can back it up. From a football family, his dad was a great coach, Frank Cignetti, particularly at IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Kurt's now in his 4th stop. He's won everywhere he's been. They won 8 more games than they won last season. He started 10-0 last year at James Madison and started 10-0 this year. National Coach of the Year. IUP, Elon, James Madison, and Indiana. 14th season as a head coach. Didn't get his first head coaching job until he was 49 years old. 27 years as an assistant. Curtis Rourke in trouble and sacked for the first time tonight. Their first play of the second half goes for a 9-yard loss, and it's Riley Mills who's not getting up. He's had a tremendous year. Graduate student from Lake Bluff, Illinois, and a team captain. Their leader in sacks and tackles for a loss.
Is now a Golden Globe nominee for Best Picture of the Year.
Turn it down! Play loud!
This Christmas, Timothée Chalamet is Bob Dylan. A Complete Unknown. Rated R.
Hey! There's a pharmaceutical commercial coming on!
The pharmaceutical commercial about eczema and itch is on right now?
It's starting!
Imagine this. A mild to moderate eczema treatment that targets inflammation at a key source right where you need it, without steroids. Nailed it. Imagine using one single cream to help clear skin and kick the itch. Oh, it's not imaginary. It's Opzelura, eczema treatment reimagined. Opzelura is proven to help clear or almost clear skin and significantly reduce itch fast. Imagine that.
Opzelura can lower your ability to fight infections. Tell your doctor if you have or had an infection, TB, hepatitis B or C, blood clots in your legs or lungs, heart attack, stroke, cancer, high cholesterol, are a smoker or pregnant. Opzelura may cause serious lung infections, certain cancers, immune system problems, blood clots, and low blood cell counts. Major cardiovascular events or death occurred in those 50+ taking oral JAK inhibitors. The most common side effect was the common cold.
Ask your eczema specialist about reducing itch fast with Opzelura. Relief reimagined.
AI can help your employees deal with onboarding, benefits, and other busy work so they can actually do the work they love. Dan's loving it. He's in the zone right now.
Kind of hard to be in the zone
when Idris Elba walks into your office. I know. It's a lot.
Exactly.
We tripled the size of the playoff. It's huge. 12 teams have an opportunity to win a championship.
You will see the best on display.
Riley Mills helped off. That would be a big loss if he cannot continue. He's had an outstanding year.
And there have been times tonight where he's been unblockable, including the play just a moment ago, but a little friendly fire as his right leg hits Jalen Sneed, number 3, who's also arriving at Curtis Rourke, and kind of leg whips him. It's good to see him walk off under his own power, but if he can't return for the Irish, that's potentially a massive loss up front.
The sack brings the ball back to the 4-yard line. Indiana, second highest scoring team in the country in the regular season, behind only Miami, held to 3 points in the first half. And the first play of this half did not go well. Crowd making it difficult. Justice Ellison came closer to hear the play call. There is a flag down. And given that they didn't stop it, you would think this might be against the Irish. Jalen Sneed and Joshua Burnham involved in that play. Burnham put pressure on. He might have been the guy who was offside.
Yeah, he was pointing at the left tackle Carter Smith, but didn't look like Smith moved.
Offside. Defense. Number 40. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Yeah, and you can see right here on the end of the line of scrimmage, he'll move across the line of scrimmage, but watch Carter. It doesn't look like he moved at all.
No.
And sure enough, Burnham's into the neutral zone when the ball is snapped. So an easy call, but I'm not sure what Burnham was thinking right there.
They've had a lot of injuries up front. Early in the year, they lost Jordan Botello, who played in 50 career games. Boubacar Traore. Traore would have been another key component up front. There's Miles Price with nowhere to go into the bag of tricks, and it didn't work. Burnham, who was called for the penalty, was the key player on defense to stop that for a 2-yard play. It is impressive given all the injuries, how well they've played, and it's one of the reasons why Al Golden is one of the finalists for the Frank Broyles Award as the top assistant coach in the country.
Yeah, they've done an amazing job of filling some voids of guys that can make a huge impact, and the pass rush is what suffered some, and here on a 3rd and long, you would expect Howard Cross right over the center to give an opportunity to get home against Rourke.
There's Al Golden. Bryant Haynes, the defensive coordinator for IU, is also one of the 5 finalists. It's Golden's defense again. Bryce Young, the incredibly talented true freshman, the son of the former Notre Dame great and NFL Hall of Famer Bryant Young.
And just an electric edge rush against the right tackle Trey Weddick. Look at the right arm, long arm, and at 6'7", it's going to be hard for Weddick to get his hands on the explosive true freshman. Just great use of the long arm that leads to the sack. And a nice.
We were at practice yesterday. There were a couple of times I asked you, who's number 30? As he's not a starter, but he was a factor even in a practice. Here's a good punt by Evans, who struggled in the first half. Max Hurleman got stopped in his tracks at the 42-yard line. 49-yard punt, 10-yard return, but excellent field position for Notre Dame.
Talked earlier to Molly McGrath and how she emphasized Marcus Freeman's message and that he wants to be aggressive. And so far, defensively, very aggressive start to this second half, and it can be compounded now with an aggressive start on this play. Heavy play action, throw it downfield, and see if he could take a shot with sudden change with great field position.
Marcus a little hot on that sideline, engaged with the officials. Jarian Price, the running back. He gets the call on first down. Marcus Freeman's just 38 years old. This is his 3rd season. As he said, he agreed to a contract extension, still working the officials. They reportedly added 4 years to his deal, which had 2 years remaining. So he's under contract through 2030. And he's impressive.
Yes.
You talk to his coordinators who've been around a long time, and Al Gold and Mike Denbrock, and they talk about how he has just total command of this program and impressive in every aspect of leading it. Nice hands catch. Jordan face on. And it looks like he has a first down.
Sean, you're 100% right with Marcus Freeman, though. I mean, he has a great ability to relate to the players, to get the players to buy in. And my goodness, man, in an era where you're seeing less and less teams that are lunch pail, blue collar, hard hitting football teams, Notre Dame has not lost a step whatsoever. They are extremely physical on both sides of the ball, and that's a testament to their head coach and the culture he's created.
He has 11 wins against ranked opponents in 3 years. That's the most by any Notre Dame coach in his first 3 years. Here's Price busting through tackles, 9-yard gain. He broke Frank Leahy's record back from the 1940s with those 11 ranked wins, and here's another ranked opponent tonight. Frank Leahy, 10 wins against ranked opponents back in the early 40s. One of the all-time great coaches at Notre Dame or anywhere.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? In such a short period of time, and all the great coaches that have come through here in South Bend. And Marcus Freeman stands alone at the top in a pretty short tenure.
High snap, blitz, they got there, and the ball is caught by Eli Raridan, a backup tight end, good for 4 yards and a first down. Just the 9th catch of the year for the junior from Des Moines.
Pretty good concentration, and still more pressure being applied to Riley Leonard, who's doing a pretty good job of contorting his body and still finding a way to be somewhat accurate. But a pretty dang good
call, but he held on.
By Raridan. Thing a big boy with long fingers to catch that one.
Jadarian Price, the running back. Well, he's your number 2 running back. You're in pretty good shape. When Love had to go out of the game at USC to finish the regular season 3 weeks ago, Price took over. He wound up with 111 yards and just 12 carries.
When you talk to the staff, I mean, they envisioned him becoming a star from day one, and would have been a star earlier in his career if not for a torn Achilles that he suffered early in his career, not long after he arrived. But they think he has a very, very bright future. Is already showing it here in South Bend.
Blitz off the corner, didn't get anywhere near Riley Leonard, but James Carpenter did for the first sack of the night for Indiana. Back to the 24-yard line, a 5-yard loss for Notre Dame.
Pass rush is going to continue to be emphasized for Indiana and their defensive coordinator, Brian Haynes. So here in a 3rd and long situation, your kicker's already nailed a long field goal earlier. Haynes might be thinking about knocking him out of field goal range, but I'd be thinking screen if I'm Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator.
5 out of 7 on 3rd down. Pressure immediately from Mikhail Kamara. Leonard ran away from that and then got hit out of bounds. They had him stopped at the line of scrimmage, and it would have been 4th down. And there's a late hit on the Notre Dame sideline. James Carpenter with a terrible mistake for Indiana. That's going to give Notre Dame a first down. Curt Cignetti, I think, wants to see a replay on that big screen.
He's not going to like what he sees, because that was pretty clear that Riley Leonard was giving himself going out of bounds, and in pursuit, Carpenter hits him really hard right there on the sideline.
Officials are talking about it. There was a flag thrown.
After the play, personal foul, lay hit out of bounds, defense number 99. Half dozens to the goal and an automatic first down.
Crushing penalty for Indiana.
And Riley Leonard right there, clearly giving himself up. Where's his foot as he's going out of bounds? I think that's probably what Cignetti is trying to argue, but he's way into the white, so he's clearly
he's out of the white by the time he finishes shoving him.
He's
that's
clearly outside
clearly
the field
a penalty.
of play. But just a terrible decision.
So instead of 4th down, it's 1st down at the 12, and a lot of time coming off the clock on this Notre Dame possession, already leading by 14. They've had the ball for more than 4 minutes. Jaden Thomas, who has a touchdown catch tonight.
They are just running the ball in so many different directions. That time just a little jet sweep, hitting it to the right, to the left, and now inside the 5. Now it's Riley Leonard time. This is the part of the field where he starts to get those touches, and he can maybe add to those 14 rushing touchdowns he's already had this year.
Riley Leonard said playing for Notre Dame was always his dream. Well, he thought he'd be a college basketball player. He had many more D1 scholarship offers for basketball before he got his first in football. Price cannot break tackles. Nicely played by Rolijah Hardy, a freshman from Lakeland, Florida. Riley Leonard had a great grandfather, James Carn, who played football here at Notre Dame in the 40s. Grew up with Rudy, his favorite movie. Started his career at Duke. But when he had a chance to transfer here, he jumped at the opportunity. It was a rough start when they lost to NIU. Sam Hartman, who was the quarterback here last year himself, transferred in from Wake Forest. Talked to Riley Leonard, said you need to relax, embrace being the quarterback at Notre Dame and the good things that come with it, of which there are many. 3rd down and goal from the 4. Aeneas Williams. They get a 1st down at the 2. He keeps battling. They're going to roll him down. Back just outside the 10. They're actually going to put it right on the 10. Boy, does he fight.
Man, just refusing to go down. He looked like he was going to be stopped multiple times, but there's the left knee and the right knee and the left elbow down in 3 different places. So clear, but great effort and good attempt.
So here's Jeter with a big field goal try to make it a 3-score game. They shift out. And how about this formation? They're so creative on special teams. They throw it out wide to Evans, the tight end, and he didn't get there. Short by a yard. Cignetti was running down the sideline. I think they called a timeout. Marcus Freeman's happy about that because they didn't get the 1st down.
Timeout.
Marcus is smiling as if to say that's what we really wanted, just to force them to use a timeout with that weird formation.
And kind of unlucky for Curt Cignetti. I mean, full panic mode, defense trying to get aligned with the movement and the quick snap. He's running down the sideline on the far side and gets the attention of the linesman. So a little unfortunate there after it looked like they had him stopped on 4th down.
And Curt Cignetti talked about how creative Notre Dame is on special teams. They've had 3 successful fake punts this year. One of them against Virginia went for a touchdown, was called back by a formation infraction. The one they ran last game 3 weeks ago against USC. They ran Tyler Buckner, who was once a quarterback, out on the field. Marcus Freeman said the other team, USC, was yelling from the sideline, it's going to be a fake, a fake, a fake, because they knew they had guys on the field who ordinarily weren't out there. But because it was such a creative play design, it worked anyway.
And the double numbers worked in their favor as well. Buckner wearing number 26, the same number as their holder, Chris Salerno.
Who's out there right now holding for Jeter. 28-yard try. And whistles to stop it. And a flag. Yeah, they have their names on their backs tonight, so you know it's Salerno.
False start. Offense. Number 72, 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Sam Pendleton, who's been playing right guard here in the 2nd half, as they've apparently lost Rocco Spindler, their starting right guard, due to injury. So this brings it back to a 33-yarder to make it a 3-score game with under 4.5 to go in the third quarter. Yeah, he's back. Well struck. 20-3 Notre Dame. 4:21 to go, third quarter, the first game of the 12-team college football playoff.
Decisions brought to you by NerdWallet. Well, it'd be smart to start to find some answers for this pass rush. If you're Indiana's offensive line, they're twisting up front, which is giving them a lot of problems, but they're also twisting at the second level. Snead goes in, beats the running back in protection. They drop him for another sack, and then just a traditional rush by Bryce Young with a long arm off the right-hand side, right around the right tackle. Trey Weddick down 17 now. They gotta find an answer for this pass rush, or it's gonna be impossible to climb back in this game.
Will they take a chance and try to return one of these short kickoffs? Nope. Fair catch signaled by Solomon Van Horst on the kick by Eddie Goins. Here's Molly.
Sean, Notre Dame defensive tackle Riley Mills came out of the injury tent walking gingerly, favoring his right leg. Athletic training staff made him put a brace on that right knee, which he was hesitant to do. He told teammates he's fine, but he was moving with a noticeable limp. It looks like he'll try out this brace and see if it helps, guys.
Well, with a 17-point lead right now, he's just on the sideline. No need to put him back in there right now if, in fact, they intend to do that at all. Had a terrific year, more sacks this year than he had in the previous 4 years combined, including his sack tonight, in which he was injured. Again, high-flying Indiana finds some offense. Not on that play. Jordan Clark chopped down Tyson Lawton for a loss of 1.
Just cannot emphasize enough how good Notre Dame's been right now in tackling in the open field, where Curt Cignetti's defense has really struggled. Notre Dame's not allowing any space for these backs to work, and as a result, they're 40 points below their season average in scoring.
They were held under 30 points only twice by Michigan and by Ohio State. Wide receiver screen. Keyshawn Williams stopped 3 yards short of the first down by Rod Hurd, transfer from Northwestern. 3.5 to go, down by 17. Feels like a have-to-have-it third down here for the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I think you might even, depending on what kind of look you get defensively, you can run it. But if they run it, you're thinking 4-down territory. So definitely a possibility at this juncture of the game.
Lawton, the running back. Notre Dame crowding the line of scrimmage. Zach Horton, the tight end, the motion man. They bring pressure. Rourke off his back foot, had a man open and couldn't complete it. Miles Cross couldn't run under it. The pressure might have impacted the throw just enough, and the punt team will come on for Indiana.
Yeah, I think the pressure absolutely had an impact. It was Drake Bowen again, who looped around at linebacker and forced the throw just a little bit too long for Miles Cross, and Rourke has just been out of sorts tonight. He hasn't looked anywhere near as accurate as he has throughout most of the season.
He's 7 out of 15 for 85 yards. Evans, the punter, and a flag down. There's movement along the line.
Ball start. Offense. Number 1. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Sean Asbury guilty of the penalty. Another good kick after 3 poor ones to start 2 in a row that he hit very well on a fair catch made by Hurleman at the 31-yard line. 42-yard punt. It took more than 6 minutes off the clock the last time they had the ball. They're up 17, 2:48 to go, third quarter. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. Capital One Bowl Mania continues Monday on ESPN at 11 a.m. Coastal Carolina against UTSA in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Be a short commute for Coastal Carolina. And at 2:30 Northern Illinois against Fresno State. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl can also be seen on the ESPN app. Since that stunning loss to Northern Illinois in week 2, Notre Dame's won 10 straight and seemingly on its way to an 11th unless this changes dramatically, leading by 17. Riley Leonard on target to Bo Collins for a 9-yard gain.
I think I've been really impressed with as this game's progressed. For Riley Leonard, the mental toughness. The guy's been there before. His first pass of the night has been intercepted. But really since that point, accuracy-wise, he's been really, really solid. He's made smart decisions. And his coordinator, Mike Denbrock's done a good job of taking some shots downfield.
Jeremiah Love. Wow. Another example of what makes him special. The speed and the power. And a first down when it looked like it was going to be a loss. He got 7 to get him to 99 yards. He had 98 on the 1 touchdown run. He had a bunch of negative yardage plays. And now that one to get him back on the verge of 100.
Wow. I mean, that stiff arm was unbelievable. And you can see, I mean, both these backs so hard to bring down. Love at Price, just incredible.
He's gotten a lot bigger and stronger since he got here. He's 186 when he arrived. He's about 210 now. Mitch Evans will mark him down with a 9-yard gain.
And let's take a look at that stiff arm one more time. Gets inside and then bow. I mean, straight to the ground without slowing down whatsoever. Sean, I'll tell you who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Darren McFadden. He's just so strong. He's big, tall runner, so crazy athletic, and man, that was an impressive stiff arm right there.
Last 2 Notre Dame scoring drives that resulted in a touchdown and a field goal took more than 15 minutes off the clock. Trying to kill the clock and score again. Here's Love, run after the catch. Another first down. He's inside the 36-yard line. He's also a good receiver. He's a little slow to get up on their sideline after a 10-yard gain. And we're down to a half minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Inside handoff and Price gets smothered. James Carpenter on the last play of the 3rd quarter. Been a magical year for Indiana. But is it about to end? Unless they can rally in a big way, their season will be finished in 15 minutes. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. This is the College Football Playoff First Round, presented by Allstate.
To be aggressive, how do you want them to finish out this drive?
Well, yeah, we want to finish with points on the board like we do every drive, but it's about continuous execution. We got to stay out of the negative yardage plays and continue to move the ball forward. And so we just got to be clean. Let's be clean this 4th quarter, play physical, play aggressive, and let's finish this thing off the right way.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
This team hoping to move on to New Year's Day in the Sugar Bowl and a date with Georgia, the SEC champions who had a 1st-round bye. The 4 highest-ranked conference champions received byes into the quarterfinal round. Looked like a design quarterback draw for Riley Leonard on 2nd and long. But I think a lot of people wondered how good Notre Dame was. I think the view of Notre Dame nationally got really affected hugely by the loss to Northern Illinois.
Very much so.
And that just looks like an aberration. A team that had a bad day, maybe took it for granted coming off the huge opening win at Texas A&M. I mean, other than that, they have been a dominant football team.
And against really good competition at times, too. I think Louisville's a good team. Navy and Army are good teams.
Beautiful throw by Leonard into a crowd, caught by Jaden Greathouse for a Notre Dame first down and another time-killing drive.
And I think the thing about this, too, this is the part of Notre Dame's team that was very much a work in progress when they were playing against NIU and Texas A&M early in the game. The passing attack and the confidence of Riley Leonard, which has now come full circle, and he's playing his best football of the year here in December.
There's a flag down. He runs away from Kamara, finds an open receiver. Don't think Chris Mitchell realized how much room he had around him. He just kind of circled and went out of bounds. Likely another offside penalty against Indiana. I'm going to ask Marcus Freeman, does he want the play or the penalty?
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Yeah, they'll take that instead of a 6-yard gain and lose the down. I think the other big picture aspect of this is people are going to wonder about Indiana.
Yeah.
And how good they really were. Were they a product of a very weak schedule? You can only play who you played, and they did hammer most of the teams that they played.
Like, that's the saving grace for Curt Cignetti. It wasn't so much about who they played, but how they looked when they played those teams. And I think it's going to be going forward. Strength of schedule, depending on how the results happen this weekend, is going to be a heavier weighted factor in the years to come.
Very little pressure on Riley Leonard. Now they chase him to the sideline. Did he get rid of it just before he went out of bounds? He did. They ruled it an incomplete pass. Well, as he said, even Coach Cignetti, when he looked at the schedule that he had ahead of him, inheriting a team that won 3 games, he thought there were 10 wins there. And it's not a murderer's row. And I think the larger picture is about the strength of the Big Ten. And we're going to find out as we go. You know, there was this perception that the Big Ten, the SEC, were much better than the other conferences. And of course they should get all these teams in. It was almost like, you know, SMU had to beg to be the only at-large team that wasn't in the Big Ten or the SEC. I think there'll be a lot of questions about the strength of the Big Ten if this performance stays like this. Leonard again showing his escapability. Trying to pick up a block from Mitchell. He gets shoved out of bounds. The last thing he wants to do is get hurt now with a likely date with Georgia upcoming. We asked him about that. You run so much, you know, the risk of injury. Last year he had season-ending injuries at Duke, had surgery on his ankle and his toe. He said, no, the only thing I really think about is winning. And when you watch him play, that's true.
He is a fierce competitor. And he is a guy that will do whatever it takes, regardless of how his body might feel tomorrow, whatever it takes to get to the finish line victorious. And he's shown that really all throughout the season.
Clearly a little winded after running around these last couple of plays, and chased again and throws incomplete right to the first down marker. Mitchell Evans couldn't hang on with Sean Asbury there, and Mitch Jeter will come on again.
Buried so far in a glimmer of disappointment for Indiana. The defense has at least shown some life in the second half in creating some pass rush. So that is something to build on, supposedly. But, man, it's been tough sledding for their offense.
Jeter, who came in 0 for his last 3 and 1 for his previous 5. 2 for 2 tonight from 49 and 33. This is what they expected when they brought him over. And now a low kick that gets blocked. James Carpenter blocked it. And the Hoosiers advance the ball out near the 40-yard line. Sean Asbury picked it up. That was a low kick by Jeter. Really wasn't a lot of penetration, just batted down by big James Carpenter at the line of scrimmage. This is the CFP first round presented by Allstate. From Notre Dame Stadium, South Bend, Indiana, temperature in the mid-20s. It's been all Irish throughout. Jumped out to a 7-0 lead in the first quarter. A 98-yard touchdown run by Jeremiah Love, longest in the history of the college football playoff. Matching the longest in Notre Dame history, the longest run in FBS football this year. In Indiana, a team that averages 43 points per game has 3. They average 439 yards per game, 131 tonight. And credit this Notre Dame defense, which has played very well all year and again tonight. If Indiana's going to make a game of it, it has to start right now. The toss to Ellison, and he's wrestled down by the cornerback Leonard Floyd.
If it being a 3-score game, you got to start thinking about some tempo. You need to go some no huddle, pick up the urgency just a little bit. Don't need to go hyper speed just yet. You need to be very mindful of the clock for Curt Cignetti's offense.
Curtis Rourke on target. Miles Price across midfield, refusing to go down. They finally blow it down for forward progress being stopped. A 10-yard pickup.
These quick throws are going to have to be a big part of the offense moving forward. Notre Dame, don't give up the chunk play. Keep it in front of you. Rally up, make the tackle, continue to force them to play offense down 3 scores.
They got quickly to the line, but now they're taking some time. They can't afford to take too much time. Rourke 8 out of 16 for 95. Similar numbers to the 8 for 18 in the loss to Ohio State. Into traffic and almost intercepted into double coverage. LaDon Schuler, the safety, came over to help Leonard Moore with coverage on Anderson Kobe.
And it's such a great job by Leonard Moore. Indiana throws the back shoulder as well as anybody in the sport. What is Leonard Moore defending right there? The back shoulder, and he knows that he has Schuler over the top because of where his angle was heading out of bounds. Just perfectly defended there by the Irish.
11 minutes to go. Rourke in trouble. Has to retreat. Throws on the run. Incomplete. That was well covered by Jordan Clark on Keyshawn Williams.
I think it's 4-down territory from this point forward, too. So you got 2 downs to get it. If you're Curt Cignetti in his offense, and the guy that they haven't really utilized tonight, but has been a guy for them all season long, is Omar Cooper. He has just 1 target, and they thought he was going to be an impact player in this game with his speed. He's lined up at the top. If you get a one-on-one with Cooper, that'd be the direction I'd look.
Tight end Horton does not have a catch tonight as well, not even a target. Screen, high throw, and a great defensive play by Drake Bowen, dropping Ellison for a loss. 4th down and 11. There's a Fighting Irish player who's slow to get up. Back behind the line of scrimmage, it's Bryce Young. Timeout, 10:45 to go. Notre Dame in control, up by 17. Easier when you're road game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear more driven. Indiana on the road tonight. Not a long trip, about 200 miles up from Bloomington. That hasn't gone well. Notre Dame leading 20-3. And Indiana's going to punt on this 4th and 11, down by 3 scores. I'm very surprised.
I don't understand, especially with how Notre Dame's been able to move the ball offensively. They're down 30-20 in time of possession.
I don't get this at all.
It makes no sense.
He's really punting it. Yeah, it takes a bad bounce for IU, landed at the 20 and spins back. Yeah, that's a head scratcher to me. Hard to question Curt Cignetti, the national coach here, just about unanimous. Any organization that gives it out, he's won it.
He's done an amazing job. It's just I don't understand why you take it conservative. It's not like it's a regular season game. It's win or go home. I mean, keep the gas pedal pressed. the National Coach of the Year.
Not just the Home Depot, the American Football Coaches Association, the Walter Camp Foundation, the Associated Press. He was the Big Ten Coach of the Year. I think those Indiana fans are a little perplexed. Notre Dame has rushed for 171 yards. That's the most given up by Indiana by far this year. We talked about at the beginning. Would it be Notre Dame able to execute its strength and run the ball? Or would it be Indiana, the best run-stopping team in the country, stopping the run? It's been Notre Dame. Of course, 98 of those yards came on one play.
Right, but it's been.
Although I hate when coaches say, well, you take away the one play.
Yeah, you know, that kind of factors in, though. I mean, it's really, and it's more even just the stats to back it up. But just look at how the white jerseys are moving backwards and the gold helmets are forcing them to move backwards. I mean, it's really been a dominant performance along both lines of scrimmage for the Irish tonight.
And again, with a veteran quarterback, Leonard takes the play clock all the way down to 1. They're so well coached. Short pass. Jordan Faison out to the 37-yard line. Like Denbrock said, he'd be a factor tonight, and he has been. He's their leading receiver. That is a 12-yard gain.
I think what's so difficult about this passing attack for Notre Dame, they're not going to just light you up with shot play after shot play after shot play, but the way they get so many different people involved. They have 10 different guys that have caught passes tonight for Mike Denbrock. So who do you take away? Who do you double? How do you handle covering all those weapons? It's really a great situation for an offensive coordinator.
He's back for his 3rd stint at Notre Dame. He was at LSU last year with that great offense led by the Heisman Trophy winner Jaden Daniels. Faison again. He's a terrific coach. This is an excellent staff with Denbrock and Al Golden as the coordinators. Marty Biaggi done a fantastic job with the special teams.
I'd really think the world of what Mike Denbrock's been able to do, especially with quarterbacks too. I mean, Jaden Daniels, when he got him at LSU, the way he really developed him into becoming a well-rounded player and ultimately the 2nd overall pick in the draft. And you've already seen the magical hands of Denbrock work on Riley Leonard, the progress he's made this season.
Yeah, he was a broken quarterback after that Northern Illinois game by his own admission. With win after win, that confidence level has come back up. Jeremiah Love, the last carry, he's up to 108 yards rushing now. And he comes out of the game. It's his 5th 100-yard rushing game, and he would have had well over 100 against USC in their last game. He was at 99 yards rushing when he got injured and came out of that one. Leonard takes off running. Such a good athlete. You mentioned he was a very good basketball player. His dad was a basketball player, Chad, at the Citadel. And uncle on his mom's side, Mike Sable, played basketball at Georgetown for John Thompson. Riley's going to play in the Senior Bowl when this season is over. He hopes it's back in Mobile, where he's from.
right across the bay. He's a beautiful part the great state of Alabama down in Fairhope, and he'll just have to travel right over the bridge and go play at a really neat new venue over there at South Alabama.
Again, the decision to punt. You know, this is what Notre Dame's been doing this entire half, killing the clock. This drive more than 3.5 minutes. Aeneas Williams.
It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's one thing, analytics are great, but how's the game feel? I mean, right now, you can't stop Notre Dame. I mean, they have put together timely drive after timely drive after timely drive. The time of possession now up over 33 minutes. So I'm not sure what they were thinking, knowing it was a 3-score game.
First meeting between these two teams since 1991. Leonard, great feel for the rush. Stepped up, fires! Faison down to the goal line. They're going to mark him down just short inside the 1. 44 yards. And Faison is going to go over 100 yards receiving.
What a throw by Riley Leonard. And Faison, the concentration, decent coverage, but man, Riley Leonard, that was a heck of a throw under duress in the backfield.
Actually, he's up to 89 yards receiving. He had 16 catches all year. He has 7 tonight. Aeneas Williams stopped short of the goal line. Notre Dame probably doesn't mind. Ideally, they'd score on third down, run some more clock. Mario Landino made the tackle.
Let's go back to the big play in just a moment, because man, that was one heck of a move by Riley Leonard. And if they got their move like that, maybe they'd let him pay it off for the touchdown run so he can break a school record.
Yeah, he has 14 rushing touchdowns, tied with Brandon Wimbush in 2017 for the most of the season by a Notre Dame quarterback. Goes up as if he's going to go under center. Now he wants to use a timeout as the play clock is just about to run out.
Flag thrown, though. He might not have gotten it.
Officials conferring. I think they want to make sure the timeout was before the play clock expired. David Alvarez.
There is no foul for delay game. Timeout. Notre Dame.
With 4:54 to go. Notre Dame almost certainly on its way to the quarterfinals and a date with Georgia.
Can you believe it? That atmosphere is going to be incredible.
The college football playoff first round continues tomorrow.
And we remind you the 2 day games are on TNT and Max at noon and 4 o'clock. Back on ABC and ESPN tomorrow night for Tennessee at Ohio State. Second and goal, Notre Dame up 20-3 with under 5 minutes to go. Riley Leonard has the record. Great fake and a walk-in touchdown. His 15th rushing touchdown of the season. He has the Notre Dame quarterback record all by himself.
About the easiest decision Riley Leonard's made all game long. Watch all these defenders for Indiana just collapse to the inside. He sees it the whole way, and he walks into the end zone for his 15th touchdown, and they'll punch their ticket to New Orleans. What a performance from the Irish.
He's thrown for 201 and a touchdown, and he's now rushed for a touchdown. Mitch Jeter adds the extra point. Well, Curt Cignetti decided to punt down by 17, and Notre Dame had another clock-eating drive. 5 minutes 44 seconds to go 9 plays.
And how about the big play that set it all up? I want you to watch the move in the pocket by Riley Leonard. This is just a thing of beauty. It looks like he's dead to rights. Mikhail Kamara's got him. Nope, no you don't. Want to know why? Because Riley Leonard scoots up and throws a dart. He still gets hit, and it doesn't impact the accuracy whatsoever. A thing of beauty, and he deserves it. He made a heck of a play. He should be able to finish in the end zone alongside his teammates. Riley Leonard has the Irish in position to win their first college football playoff game here tonight on the home field.
And with that touchdown, he and Jeremiah Love are the first duo to have 15 or more rushing touchdowns in the same season in Notre Dame history. And it's quite a history. Including 11 national championships. They're going to try to run a kickoff back now. Solomon Van Horst down to the 24. Tonight's Capital One rewarding performance.
Well, Indiana had momentum for about a millisecond, and then a moment later it was intercepted by the All-American Watts. And then about a half second after that, you had Jeremiah Love, who got out the gate on the stretch zone and turned on the Jets for a 98-yard touchdown run, one for the record books in the college football playoff. And that was it. The game at that point was pretty much wrapped up with how Notre Dame's defense has played.
Now Curtis Rourke just trying to find something positive on which to end their season. He finds Tyson Lawton taken out of bounds. And now a flag for the extracurriculars after the play was over. Lawton will be playing his last college football game here tonight. 7 years, 5 seasons at Stony Brook, 1 at James Madison, and now this year at Indiana. And ouch, left leg and ankle twisted awkwardly underneath him. Jalen Sneed there for Notre Dame.
I thought he was able to run off under his own power. That was a scary hit right there.
He's coming off now.
It looked like somebody on the Indiana sideline. It looked like there was some pushing and shoving on the sideline there, and that's what resulted in the flag, too.
Officials conferring. Tyson Lawton, one of those 13 James Madison transfers.
The result of the play was a first down. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, unnecessary roughness, number 12 in the bench area. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. It'll be 1st and 10.
He shoved Jalen Sneed. Terry Jones Jr. is a defensive player, just on the sideline.
You see him over there. Sneed's kind of stand over the top of Lawton, and he just shoves him right back. The official sees it immediately, and that's what draws the foul.
Now, not to defend what Jones did, but I think he thought that Sneed was sort of standing over Lawton and taunting him at the end of the play. That would be my guess. 4.5 to go. Disappointing end to a great year for Curtis Rourke. He hopes to play professional football. He dumps it off to Justice Ellison. His brother Nathan was his predecessor at Ohio. They overlapped there. Nathan Rourke's gone on to the CFL. He's with the BC Lions. And they are very close. Nathan Rourke, according to Curtis, is Curtis's hero, great role model. There's Curtis Rourke's wife, Caroline. They met at Ohio U, said she's the better athlete. She's a volleyball player, all-conference volleyball player for the Bobcats.
He's an impressive young man.
He sure was. It's been an awful night for all of the Hoosiers, but he's certainly better than he looked tonight. And Mel Kiper has him number 6 among quarterbacks on his board for the next draft.
I think when people dive into the tape too and they sit down and visit with him, he's going to go up. I know he might not have as high a ceiling as some of the guys he'll be measured against, but I think they're going to fall in love with this young man and his tape and how accurate he is.
Catch made by Keyshawn Williams. But we were talking last night about this 12-team field. You know, in recent years, most years seemed like there was clearly a best team. Georgia in recent years, Alabama before that. You know, to me, this is wide open. And I'm a believer in Notre Dame. You know, I think a lot of people undersold their chances because of that loss to Northern Illinois, but you know, they're solid everywhere you look.
There are very few weaknesses on this football team. I mean, and you're scratching at it too, thinking about it, because it's really the pass rush was the question. Well, now that Howard Cross is back, pass rushes looked really good tonight. And look at the bracket. Oregon's the only team that's unblemished, and they look really, really solid. But everybody else has shown a bunch of vulnerabilities all season long.
And they'll play a Georgia team that has major questions at quarterback. With the injury to Carson Beck. Long pass intended for Miles Cross. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage, probably for an offside.
Offside. Defense, number 44, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
And to be honest, this game has been a little bit of a dud. I don't think anybody would deny that. Disappointing. I think most of us thought it would be a more competitive game, and there will be a lot of analysis going forward about whether Indiana was worthy of this. But still really cool for our crew to be here. You know, the first non-NBC home game at Notre Dame Stadium for the Irish since 1990. And it truly is one of the really special athletic venues in our country. Miles Price, the catch and run. You know, was one of the stars in the last ESPN telecast here in the shadow of touchdown Jesus.
I have a little bit of it.
You know, Penn State played here in November of 1990 against #1 Notre Dame. And the Nittany Lions rallied from 14 down to win it. They tied it midway through the fourth quarter on a touchdown catch by that man, Al Golden. Then the tight end for Penn State. They won it on a last-second field goal by Craig Fayak. We asked Al about that yesterday. He said, yeah, big moment. There was a memorable picture taken of him in the end zone with his arms raised in the air. And his wife, Kelly, had it made into a painting. And that painting hangs in their beach house in New Jersey. Going to be another great night for Coach Golden on this field in a big game. 2-minute timeout.
Southbound, gentlemen.
All right, Scott, thank you. Final 2 minutes of this first ever playoff game in the 12-team format. All Notre Dame tonight. Indiana just trying to make the final score look a little bit better at this juncture. Curtis Rourke to the sideline, broken up, intended for Miles Price. Coverage from Jordan Clark. Third down and 9.
Surely this is 4-down territory, right?
You would think.
They're not kicking a field goal here, right? Like, let's go for something here if you're Curt Cignetti.
Curt Cignetti signed a long-term contract extension during the year, reported to be for 8 years. And this is going to be a tough ending. Elijah Surratt battling inside the 10. But it's really been a terrific season. And I think it's instructive about what can happen in today's college football with the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Right? You win 3 games last year. You change coaches. You bring this man in. He brings in 30 transfers. And they win 11 games. Double digits for the first time. That was Tino Sunseri's coaching his last minute 39 on the Indiana staff on his way to UCLA to be the offensive coordinator. Howard Cross knocked down that pass. Pete Thamel reporting today. Chandler Whitmer from the Atlanta Falcons staff is going to come over to be the quarterback coach.
I think another thing too about the way that Tino Sunseri and Curt Cignetti have approached this rebuild, if you will, is they took guys that have played football at this level before. They might not all look like 6'5", 250 and can run. They might be a little undersized, but they are productive at smaller schools, and it can win at the highest level.
He says production over potential. He wants resumes of guys who've played a lot and played well. Swing pass, Price, bang down at the goal line. Touchdown, Indiana. That was close as to whether he broke the plane, but at least for the moment called a touchdown. And he did get over the line before the ball, we think, from the
big
mobile
collision.
progressive pylon camera. That's a touchdown.
That was a great effort with understanding where he's at. Huge collision.
I got a little nauseous there with the view from the pylon cam. Just had a quiet night tonight.
It has. Great stretch though, and
you know, and our poor camera guy is not very tall in there. He went for a ride too.
He's well protected though. Those pylons are soft around him. That's encouraging.
And Indiana's going to go for 2. And Miles Price, the touchdown, is 3rd of the year. He came over from Texas Tech. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Indiana going forward. You know, a lot of these transfers who came over, like Rourke, are here for 1 year. A lot of the guys who came from James Madison said, hey, if we stayed at James Madison, we could have done the same thing there.
Yeah, we probably could have.
Congratulations to Bob Chesney and his staff that took over for Curt Cignetti. They won 9 games, including their bowl game, losing 13 terrific players off of last year's team. They get the 2 on the completion to Elijah Surratt. And a 76-yard, 12-play drive results in the first touchdown of the night for Indiana, but they're still looking at a season low 11 points here tonight. So here's the bracket. SMU and Penn State tomorrow. You know, this is a bad night for the Big Ten, and watch out Penn State. You know, a lot of people thought SMU didn't belong. You and I believe they definitely did belong, and I think that'll be a heck of a game tomorrow. How do you size up Notre Dame and Georgia?
I think it's going to be a heavyweight battle, man. I mean, Georgia is still, until proven otherwise, the most physical football team in the sport. They've been in this situation before. They've done a great job, obviously, playing at the highest level in the biggest games, but they will be doing so more than likely without their starting quarterback, Carson Beck, who injured that elbow on the final play of the first half. So,
did you see Kirby Smart on game day today?
I did
asked about Carson Beck. It was almost like he didn't know where he was.
Non-committal.
Much that he's in Jacksonville, he's with his family and his team, and you know, we'll see.
So it sounds like Gunnar Stockton, Joe.
It sounds like they believe in him. Popular guy in the program, obviously finished off the game when they won the SEC championship. Here's an onside kick recovered by Indiana. It's Surratt at the 50-yard line.
That was a perfect kick right there. I mean, that thing bounced on the second hop, hung up in the air forever. I mean, watch. 1, 2, big hop. Allow Surratt to go in and snag the ball. That could not have been executed any better by Indiana's hands team.
Nicholas Radicic, the kicker. Elijah Surratt, their best receiver, got up there. So well executed. Well, if they could get 8 fast, try that onside kick again. So you're saying there's a chance. Rourke running for his life. Rourke tripped up from behind by Logan Thomas, a freshman who had just 4 tackles all year, but Al Golden and Marcus Freeman getting some of the deep reserves into the game here at the end. Timeout, Indiana. Don't forget to tune into the Nissan post game directly following the game. And we thank Nissan for its continuing outstanding support of college football. By the way, you saw the note. I'm going to give you a little bonus trivia question here. Georgia 3-0 all time against Notre Dame. The only team with more wins against Notre Dame without a loss all time is.
Oh. It's not Chicago Med School.
Yeah, well, it's not. You're close. It's not Chicago Surgeons and Physicians. Okay. It's the University of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
They went 4-0 against Notre Dame. The last time they played was in 1899.
Yeah,
1 year after the first meeting between Indiana and Notre Dame.
So it was even 35 years before Jay Barrowanger won the first Heisman Trophy.
Look at you. And that's with
Just
no
flexing.
notes in front of you
That's
at all.
Just flexing right there.
It was the last time these two teams played 1991. We mentioned Al Golden, one of the heroes of the last game on ESPN from this stadium. 1991 September, the meeting between Notre Dame and Indiana, last time they played, was the first NBC home game of their contract. And a great game, shootout. Here's Rourke on 2nd and 12. Notre Dame won that game. And Jerome Bettis, 100 yards plus. He's here tonight with a lot of greats from the past for the Irish, who are really enjoying this Notre Dame season. Surratt, a 7-yard gain. They're at the 45-yard line, but running out of time.
The defensive player's helmet was off.
So they're going to have a conversation about that. This is another thing in college football these days.
The huddles?
The games that never end. You know, it's just, a lot of them seem to bog down at the very end.
Please set the game clock to 1 minute and 3 seconds. The defensive player's helmet came off. Indiana will decline the 10-second runoff, and the clock will start on the snap.
All right. This might be one for Matt Austin.
I haven't heard many times the fans boo the officials up 2 scores with a minute left for adding time back.
I don't understand what happens. Is it a do-over when the helmet? We're going to have to get Matt in here. We're going to learn something with 1:03 to go. The catch made by Keyshawn Williams. Matt, help us there. Was his helmet
Sean,
not on during the play? I don't know what happened. Do you know what happened?
The helmet came off at the end of the play, so the clock stops for that. That is subject to a 10-second subtraction, which Indiana is going to decline, which means the clock is going to start on the snap. So they got it exactly right.
All right, Matt.
Notre Dame.
Good job, Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
That was way too confusing for us.
I just wanted to make sure he was still watching from his palatial home in Kentucky. I think if you're an Indiana fan, it's a disappointment. I think if you're a Notre Dame fan, though, you have to be greatly encouraged. You know, this is a wide open playoff, and they have a really good team.
I think it's easy to for people to make their narrative known, and Indiana shouldn't have done this, they shouldn't have done that. This was a dominant performance against a team that had been dominant. And I think that's something that we need to acknowledge here. And Indiana's strength was completely neutralized tonight. Their quarterback offensively is their strength. He didn't play well at all as a result of the pressure that Notre Dame consistently applied. And then their run game defense, #1 in the country coming into the night, and they couldn't stop the run. So when you basically point to that team and say, yeah, what you do well, we're going to beat you at what you do well, that's dominant and very, very impressive.
They are reviewing this to see if it was a first down. And they're still reviewing it. Well, the narrative's going to be, again, should Indiana have been in?
Right.
The one thing I didn't understand, when we did the ACC championship game, Clemson played SMU, and a lot of people were saying, well, if SMU doesn't win the championship, don't get the automatic bid, they're probably out. Alabama's going to be in. I didn't understand why Indiana wasn't included in that conversation.
Yeah, and
I didn't understand, you know, I know they were 11-1, but what was it about their resume said they were clearly more deserving than SMU or Alabama?
I think it was the Big Ten. I also think it had something to do with how convincing it looked and the, quote, eye test and the execution level that they had against subpar competition. I think that had a lot to do with it. And then I think people also looked at it and said, well, they had a bunch of self-inflicted mistakes against Ohio State. That's why that game got sideways, without really looking at it and thinking that game probably could have been worse than it was had Ohio State played a little better along the line of scrimmage. But I do think they need to really look at the criteria moving forward in these bloated conferences where people are making unequal
I think
schedules.
they need to lose the assumption that the SEC and the Big Ten are clearly head and shoulders above everybody else, particularly the Big Ten. I mean, the SEC has the recent history, Alabama, Georgia, but the Big Ten's won 2 national championships in college football since when? 2002?
2002, Ohio State won in 2002. So 2003, they've won 2.
Review,
so that's 22 seasons.
At the 40-yard line, at the 40.5-yard line, it will be 4th down at that spot.
Of course, Ohio State won the first college football playoff, Michigan last year. But you know, I don't understand why there's this presumption, it seems, for many that the Big Ten in particular is so much better than the ACC or the Big 12. Not sure what that's based on. There's a lot of talk about strength of schedule. Well, you're playing each other. So if you just assume, well, our league's better than everybody else, so therefore our strength is tough. What if your league isn't better than everybody else? Is your strength of schedule better than everybody else?
I think it's a fair point to look at for sure. Strength of schedule is a little bit of a variable based on how teams around you perform and if they're playing each other.
Yeah, I don't get it. Yo, our strength of schedule is the best. Because we play everybody else in our league, and we're just assuming our league's better than everybody else.
And Indiana never played anybody outside their league that was any good that could challenge them, so it's tough to know.
Kurt Cignetti looked at the schedule from his house in Virginia when he was at James Madison and said, I could win 10 games against that schedule with a team that won 3 games last year. Before he knew 13 James Madison players were coming with him. Zach Horton runs out of bounds. First target for him tonight, a tight end who's at 20 catches during the year. Another one of those James Madison transfers. He goes out with his right arm dangling. The last thing you want to do is 43 seconds to go in your season to get hurt. Might have just been a stinger.
hopefully he'll be all right. He's been a good player for a long time for Kurt Cignetti.
Rourke still hoping to score, get two. Onside kick, but they're running out of time. He's run down from behind by Thomas. Indiana has one timeout. It's a 7-yard gain. Clock stops to move the chains. They're at the 23. And they clock it. You know, we talked to Curtis Work about why Indiana. He said, you know, I was intrigued by playing the Big Ten. He said, and Coach Cignetti called me while he was packing up his house in Virginia to leave James Madison and go to Indiana. And he started telling me about how successful he's been. Now, this was before he had the press conference that Google me. So Curtis Work said, so I Googled him. And everything he said was true. So Curtis was really the original guy who Googled Kurt Cignetti. Back shoulder to throw. That finally works, and it's a touchdown. Perhaps we're burying the Hoosiers a bit prematurely. Now a chance for a 2-point play to make it a 1-score game with 25 seconds to go. Omar Cooper beat Christian Gray.
And that's about the first back shoulder throw that they've executed all game long. It took 59 minutes and 35 seconds, but that was a thing of beauty. If we could have gotten that in the first 3 quarters, this game would look very different here at the end.
Have to have the two. They got one a moment ago. 23 yards on the touchdown. 7th of the year for Cooper on his first catch of the night. Homegrown product from Indianapolis, Lawrence North High School. Justice Ellison, the running back. Rourke to the end zone, broken up. Incomplete, intended for Elijah Surratt.
What a great play by Jordan Clark, too. I mean, it's a well-thrown ball. It looked like it was going to be complete. And Jordan Clark, at the very last second, puts his right hand in to tip it and deflect it over the head of the intended target, Surratt. Just a terrific defensive play by Clark.
Notre Dame 0 is now wearing number 46.
So that should cement it. Still down by 2 scores with 25 seconds to go if it wasn't already cemented.
You have to admire the fight, though, from Indiana there after they probably shouldn't have punted it away. That ultimately led to it becoming a 24-point game. They shouldn't have punted it. But once they did get control again, they've kept their foot on the pedal and at least made it respectable down the stretch. You got to admire that aspect of it.
And they're better than they look tonight. Such a great story all year long. A very likable program led by Coach Cignetti, who's obviously a real character. They recover this onside kick. Bo Collins out there, their leading receiver. But it'll be interesting, right? In this transfer portal, you know, out they go, in come other guys. You know, can they do it again next year?
And those people that are wondering, hey, what's the benefit of a first-round bye? I'd rather have the home game. That's one thing Kurt Cignetti said that is a real challenge for these teams that have had to play this week, is they have not had the same type of opportunity to host players that would be considering their school by way of the transfer portal. So maybe that's something worth acknowledging in the future and the benefit of the bye week.
Other coaches have talked about that. You know, Kurt Cignetti said, well, I'd rather be playing and have to deal with retaining staff, retaining your own players, getting players in the portal and doing the high school recruiting. Leonard takes a knee. And Marcus Freeman has his 12th win in 3 years against a ranked opponent. And the Irish are on to the quarterfinals and the Sugar Bowl. And a date with the Georgia Bulldogs on New Year's Day. And 12 wins ties the school record. And we transition into the Nissan postgame. Notre Dame outgained Indiana 393 to 278. They rushed for 192 against the team that was giving up 71 yards rushing per game coming in. Of course, 98 of those yards on the touchdown run to start the scoring by Jeremiah Love back in the first quarter. And let's go to Molly with Coach Freeman.
Coach, Indiana didn't give up, but you got your first ever home playoff win, Notre Dame's first ever CFP win. What kind of statement did your team make in a mostly decisive performance tonight?
Well, it's all about finding a way to try to get another week and did enough to get the victory. It wasn't easy. That's a good football team that we played that didn't quit until the end of the game, so I have a lot of respect for them. But we're going to enjoy this one, and we've earned ourselves another one.
Your defense limited one of college football's best scoring teams for most of this game. How has that group just been so consistent for you?
Well, I think, it's a lot of guys that buy in and that commit to giving everything they got to Notre Dame. They put the work in, they prepare the right way, and they're performing at a high level. So proud of the way they're prepared and looking forward to getting them back together here soon.
Yeah, next up, you're taking on Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. After that Week 2 loss, did you ever think that your team could win 11 straight and make a run like this?
We were just concerned about elevating, about getting better, about, improving during the week and taking advantage of the next opportunity we had at hand. And so that ended up being 11 wins, and here we are getting ready to face Georgia. But we're going to enjoy this one together, and then we'll get back to work tomorrow.
Congratulations on the win. We'll see you in New Orleans.
All right, thank you.
Here's Katie with Riley Leonard.
Thanks, Molly. Riley, congratulations. Indiana came in here with the best run defense in the country. How are you guys able to put together long, efficient drives time and time again?
Yeah, holy cow, this place is nuts. I think it just starts with winning the line of scrimmage. Them big boys up front, every single week they're going to get prepared. They're going to move the line of scrimmage, and that's what they did tonight.
This was the first playoff game we got to see hosted on a university campus. What was it like for you playing at home in front of all of your fans?
It's crazy. This is such a special place. There's no place like Notre Dame. I mean, this is why you come here. This is why I came here to compete in the college football playoffs. It's such a blessing. I owe it all to these guys, though. Our defense showed out once again, and everybody around me just compliments my game day in and day out.
What did you envision this season would look like after that loss early on in the season?
Shoot, I was just, we were fighting to stay alive every single week. It's crazy to think that, this same team lost that early game earlier in the year, and now we've bounced back from that. But that's what we've done all year. Man, it's a testament to these guys' courage and the culture of this football team.
Congratulations. Best of luck in New Orleans.
Thank you. Jesus bless.
So the home team victorious in the first ever on-campus college football playoff game. The first year of the 12-team format, and Riley Leonard had a very good night.
Very, very nice. It starts with 3rd and 4 awareness, understanding how far he's got to go to continue the drive, but the pocket movement was exceptional all night long. This time he steps up beautifully, knows he's going to get hit, doesn't matter. The accuracy is still premier, and then a couple plays later, he pays it off himself for his school record 15th rushing touchdown of the season. Just a tremendous performance by the Irish quarterback and really the entire Irish team.
So they've won 11 in a row. The first quarterfinal matchup is set. They will play in the All-State Sugar Bowl in New Orleans against Georgia. The last game played on that day, an 8:45 start on ESPN. And the season ends for Indiana. By the way, the Hoosiers now 1-72 all-time against teams ranked in the AP top 5. Worst such record of all time. The Irish are victorious. Let's send you to Scott Van Pelt.